and welcome to your first Federalism and Missouri Constitution video. I hope you are ready for awesomeness. Our first learning target that we're going to be focusing on today is to describe the changing relationship between the federal government and the state governments. So let's iron out a few things about the relationship that is federalism. What? You know, you said it. All right, so federalism, you need to make sure that you know that this is a system of government in which power is divided between states or regional governments and a central government. So in our federal system today, we have a federal government in Washington, D.C., and then we have state governments that share power, okay? So things we're going to be looking at, and a little bit about the relationship between the states and the federal government. We have powers that are given specifically to the national government. We have powers that are given specifically to the state governments. We have powers that are prohibited by the governments or by the Constitution. And we have powers that are shared, so powers that both of the states can do. So let's get to it. So where do we look in the Constitution to figure out what powers the federal government has? We can look at Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution, and we'll be doing an in-class activity on this to help us clarify that information a little bit more. But Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution lists specifically all of the powers that Congress has. Congress can do things like coining money. They can declare war. They can do that kind of stuff, okay? So it specifically says Congress can do this, 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 and this, okay? The very last clause of Article 1, Section 8 is the elastic clause, and we've talked about that before. The elastic clause is better known as the necessary and proper clause, and it gives Congress the authority to pass any law that it thinks is necessary and proper. So we said that that increases or stretches the power of Congress. So Congress in the federal government, are also given authority by the Supremacy Clause. And if we're looking at the Supremacy Clause, we are in Article 6 of the Constitution. So Article 1 sets up Congress. Article 6 talks about the Supremacy Clause. And it basically says that if there's ever a question between federal law and state law, then state law is going to be less than federal law. Okay, so federal law is always going to win. So in the case of McCulloch v. Maryland, this is one of my favorite cases, we have a wonderful example of that playing out in real time, okay? So in McCulloch v. Maryland, we know that the state of Maryland was trying to place a tax on a branch of the federal bank because it was within their state borders. And of course, the Supreme Court said, no, you can't do that because that violates the Supremacy Clause because the state, Maryland in this situation, was trying to impede or limit a function of the federal government. Okay? And with that, I'm going to stop with this video. If you have any questions, let me know.